Hi, we're back with episode 2 of Virtually Lost. Today is May 9th, 2021, and I'm your host, Robert. My co host, Julian, couldn't make it to today's episode, so I'll be running this episode solo. Maybe a bit shorter because of it, but the show must go on. First topic, probably bring up is the Epic Games Apple lawsuit, which began this week. It's probably the gaming case of the year, if not, for the most. These are big names, I should probably say, Apple, Epic Games, Epic revenue, Fortnite money. These are all things that are factors in this. To give a, quick rundown of the case in general, I'll begin with Apple Apple takes 30% of revenue from any in-app purchases. So games, develop apps. That's why there's like a lot of pro versions and stuff like that. Fortnite was no exception. So 30% of proceeds on Fortnite purchases on, Apple devices would go to Apple. That's a lot of money from Epic. And so they were trying to find ways to bypass it. And first they sued saying, this is unjust. It's just hurting these app developers and these game developers and just these games in general. And, basically calling it almost like a monopoly of sorts. And then while this was happening, they found a way to kind of circumvent the in-app purchase system. And, they updated Fortnite, did that. And then Apple, when they found out, took Fortnite off the App Store, countersued because it violated their terms of service with Epic. And so that's kind of the two sides. Apple's trying to keep their money. Epic is trying to give Apple less of their money, is basically what it comes down to. And so it's a 3-week trial. I would say most people would want Epic to win because even though Epic is doing it for their own money, it's true that small developers, or just in general app developers in total, would benefit from like getting a lowered 30% revenue cut from the Apple Store. It's just numbers, just money. So, the masses would probably support Epic. But the reason I brought it up is because the day one of the trial was beautiful. It was amazing to hear about because it was held online, and fans found the call-in line and joined in the call of the trial. And the court did not know how to mute the participants at first. So we had a good period of time where we had kids and, just actually not even just kids, they're everyone. We had a bunch of cussing. We had free Fortnite chants. And we had people playing Travis Scott over their call. So needless to say, the beginning of this court case was just solely focused on getting things back in order. And it took, I don't know how long it took. I believe at least 15 minutes, or I remember it saying over 15 minutes just to get it in a actual working environment for the court case to continue. So, the day one shenanigans out the window now. From that day onward, it's kind of been a bit more normal. And, the result of this case is actually going to impact quite a bit just because of the sheer size of the App Store, or the Apple App Store. I should make that clarification. And as for May, we've had a few events. Have MSI starting. Later this month, we have Valorant's Masters tourney happening. And then we also have like 11 K-pop girl groups are having a comeback or debut. So that's just a personal thing, but it's a big month. It's a big month for Riot, or for League of Legends MSI. Started May 6th, going to be going on until May 23rd. It's going to be having 11 teams, originally 12, but the Vietnam team representatives couldn't make it due to COVID travel restrictions. So MSI is going on with 11 teams instead. And other than that, MSI was also the debut for the 2020 World Skins for disbandment. And I gotta say, they're really nice. I think it's really cool when games put out, these are historic moments for the game. Each of these events of Worlds. And, it's nice seeing these different skins from different years of the teams who won, the SKT T1s, the Samsung Galaxy, disbandment. Oh man, I'm forgetting the other names. I only know the LCK names, tragically. And I should probably make that clarification. I'm a bit new to competitive league, probably a few months in, but it's been interesting to watch. And I think Riot knows how to do promotions and market well, because also the skins went on sale when MSI started. So, free to purchase, or not free to purchase, but you can purchase. You gotta spend that money, of course, for those kinds of skins. And I don't know, it's an interesting event. It's lasting 14 days, 17 days, which is going to be pretty interesting to see. Bit of the first round of round robin has gone through. It's about 4 days in. We watched disbandment smack NA. We watched C9 jungler Blabber flash for a scuttle crab and get killed and hand over double buffs. And then we watched actually a really good game between disbandment and, oh my goodness, it's the Japan team. I'm blanking on their name. Oh, DFN, Don't Focus. Or I think it's Don't Focus Me or something. They had a really close game where DFN looked like they were going to win. And then it was just that when you're just doing so well and you're just like, all right, this last play, we just got to make this one work. And then you just throw it, just completely throw the game tragically. And it was sad to see, but in the fact that they did that well, and Japan's not a crazy large region for League. It's definitely one of the smaller, or one of the more underdeveloped regions, I would say. And the fact that they did that well is speaking really good, because even if they beat disbandment in this round robin, it wouldn't affect too much, because for the round robin, it's right now cut into 3 subgroups, and whoever gets first and second within each group advances onto the next stage. So most likely, if they won disbandment, it'd be those two groups, or those 2 teams going out of that group. And then the next round is what would matter. And then those teams from the next round would advance to the final round. So, them losing now it's fine. It's painful to watch, because, when you're that close to winning, it really sucks to just lose like that. But, it's a good sign for the rest of this tourney for them. And then Cloud9, I hope they can get it together. I hope they can advance out of groups, because they got obliterated by DFN, and in the end, disbandment's gonna make it out of groups. It's just they're already, I think, 3-0, and it's looking like, or actually wait, but the current losses, yeah, they would have to lose like pretty much all 3 games for them not to make it out of group. So everyone's just fine for second place out of their group to advance to the next stage. And then, after MSI is the other Riot event, which is the Valorant Champions Tour, Masters Reykjavik. Forgive my pronunciation. Which is going to be from May 24th to May 30th. And while I don't keep up too much with Valorant, or competitive Valorant, I'm really interested in seeing how this event goes and what teams are participating, along with, seeing the production value on Riot's, I believe, first big LAN tourney. Because, after seeing the MSI ones and the Worlds ones, you see the money that's put into these venues, this production value. So I'm wondering if that same level is going to be kept for the Valorant Champions Tour. And then also, a little bit more of Riot news was they announced where Worlds 2021 is going to be held, which is going to be in Shenzhen, China on November 6th, or that's when it's going to begin on November 6th, 2021. I think that about covers it for Riot news. Another big piece that came out with big companies, I'd say, was Sony is going to integrate Discord with PSN in 2022 with their new partnership. Like, that by itself is already noteworthy. However, another reason it's big is because about 3 or so weeks ago, it became public that Microsoft's talks to acquire Discord fell through. I think Microsoft offered like $12 billion, and Discord is just like, that's not going to cut it. So the timing of this is just very interesting, because you don't go through the talks of, integrating with a platform within 3 weeks, or at least it doesn't seem like you should. I'm wondering if this was something that Discord already had on the table, like this talks with Sony, and maybe, you take that to the table of Microsoft and just, try to up that value, where it's like, hey, we're going to partner with a direct competitor. You wanna throw in a blank check? You wanna make sure that doesn't happen? Send a check this way. And so I'm wondering if that's what happened, or if actually just things run the course in a matter of 3 weeks, which just seems ridiculously nil. Like, the chances of that is just so low. So it's interesting. It's interesting to see how Discord is playing both sides of the console wars, if those still exist. But it's interesting. I'm just gonna keep saying it's interesting, because it's fun to me. It's fun to me seeing how these companies are interacting with each other. And then, speaking of companies that do a great job of being in the public eye is Activision. Not only do they have 9 companies working on Warzone, not only did the company have recent layoffs, not only did the company CEO earn $200 million, they decided to counteract all those negative PR moments they have. And they put out the statement that they're going to hire 2,000 new developers over the next 2 years, which is great. However, when your most recent news are those 3 about CEO earning a bunch of money, 200 million is nothing to scoff at. When you got game development companies being absorbed just to work on, the money project, the cash cow that is Warzone, kind of limiting the influx of new games and creativity a bit more, which is a bit of a bummer to me. And then, when another piece of recent news is you just had layoffs, it just seems like the fact that they're announcing the 200 new developers over the next 2 years it's PR. It's all it is. It's just trying to get a little bit of the flack away from you. Make yourself seem a little bit good within the public perception. And, it's that news. And then there's previous news where the CEO slashes pay by 50%. I'll be honest, it isn't 50% though. Because, I think he slashed his salary by 50%. However, the man for sure has stocks within the company. So, slashing that man's salary by 50% ain't nothing to him. He's making money through the company, the stonks. So we'll see how it goes. I just find it to be funny that, these news are all coming out at a time when it's just like, y'all have a bad perception. You could just, I understand what they're doing, actually, I should say, but just wait a bit. You guys just had some bad PR with the backlash versus you guys incorporating Toys for Bob in Warzone development. It's just calm down for a second. I know you're getting flacked on, but you're not going to make less money from Warzone, so just chill a bit. Let it sit for a second, and then say the 2 years. You guys took like 2 weeks after the Toys for Bobs got announced to just say, hey, we're gonna hire some people. We're gonna hire 2K. Give us a round of applause. We're doing good for the gaming scene. It's like, yeah, I guess. And then what else happened? I think for gaming, those are most of the things I've seen. I haven't had a chance to play NieR Replicant. I want to. I love that game. I love the music. As per my poster that's in the back, I went to the orchestral concert, which that is a story within itself. That was a fun time, but I won't go into that right now. Maybe I'll go into it near the end, but it's such a mess of a event that I'm surprised everything kind of went well. But briefly, I want to talk about K-pop. This is something that, will go straight over Julian's head. So, as the solo host of today's episode, I'll take the time to dive in real quick. There's a really cool thing that happened with a new K-drama called Imitation. The show in its Imitation covers a K-pop group called Tea Party. It's a fictional group within the show. And a cool thing they did was this group decided to decided to promote on an actual music show for, I believe, is Music Show Core. But, the 3 members / actors went on the live stage and performed the song. I thought that was a really cool thing. It's, going to the music K-pop fandom, and then also to the K-drama fandom. It's like a good mix of touching to both audiences, where, browsing through the comments, and, while majority of them are in Korean and my illiteracy blocks me from understanding those comments, some of the English comments were surprised, because one of the members her name is Im Na-young, and she was in a famous group called Prison that disbanded. So some people were actually interested in the show from now on because of her appearance on this live stage. Like, they didn't know she was on the show Imitation. So the fact that, she appeared, they naturally became interested, because, you want to see these actors and idols succeed. That's just the way it is. And the whole concept of this kind of reminds me a bit of like Love Live and Bang Dream, which, anyone who knows those names knows I'm going into anime territory. Because like Love Live and Bang Dream, or Love Live performed at AX, and Bang Dream I know has had, I don't know if I should say has because of COVID restrictions, but had concerts where the voice actors of these anime characters, who are the actual members of the band, live perform of some of their shows. Bang Dream, I mostly follow the group Roselia. They have a good rock sound. I like the vocalist's voice. Is that how it's said? It just sounds odd. But and they do some good covers too. They did Tamashi no Refrain which is an Evangelion song, and they have some good songs of their own, like Our Passion Starmine, I believe is the name of the song. Shout, is it Black Shout? Could be wrong, but they have some good songs. A good discography, to say the least. But it reminds me of that, where it's, the group and the events that are happening within the group are fictitious, because, how these people meet within the K-drama group, Tea Party, the circumstances surrounding them are, all fictitious based off the plot of the series. And similar to Bang Dream, where, the characters of Bang Dream, or the members of Bang Dream, their backgrounds and stories are fictitious. It's an anime. But, the members, or the actors slash singers slash band members behind it are, real people, and they decided to do some real life promotions. And I think it's a really cool concept. I like to see things like that. And, as I'm going into K-pop, I'll take a moment to announce, like a week and a half ago. I'm a bit late. I wanted to bring it up on last week's podcast, but I actually forgot. Was IZ*ONE had their disbandment at the end of April. They're probably one of the largest fourth generation K-pop groups, and the group itself was a temporary group, which came from a survival show called Produce 48, which combined 48 members of idols from Korean agencies, along with 48 members of AKB48 from Japan. And so these 96 members competed to be a part of this 12-person group, which would promote for 2.5 years. And the end of their contract came up at the end of April. And so everyone went their respective ways. The 3 Japanese members went back to AKB48, and then the 9 Korean members went back to their respective agencies. And so now there's a lot of, question marks and talk on what's going to happen to, or where each member is going to go with their career. Some of them, it seems like they'll join an existing group. Some of them seem like they will maybe go solo. And then there's a question mark if some of them are done with handling music and instead going to go into a more acting or variety host role. So it's probably going to be an interesting 2 months before, I'd say a month and a half before any one member's news announces. Maybe a month, actually. No, I'll say a month. You can't wait too long. I say a month before the first member's news announces of what they're doing for their future plans. And I don't know. I'm a bit bummed though, because that was my favorite group. I own all their albums that I could possibly own. They have such a good discography. I'll always say it. Bloom Eyes is possibly it's my album of the year for 2020. The only close second album is Yukika's Soul Lady. Just 2 completely solid, strong albums from start to finish, just clean. I would say Soul Lady is a good story album. The way it goes is, starts with the track from HND to GMP, which are the names of the 2 airports. And then I believe the album ends with All Flights Are Delayed. I'm so sad. Okay, that's another tangent. Yukika, that album, Soul Lady, was a really good project. And the fact that the last track was All Flights Are Delayed, it was a chill, lo-fi song. And it made it seem like she was going to go. The story of the Soul Lady album is a Japanese singer travels to Korea to start her career there. And, it's similar to Yukika's story herself. And All Flights Are Delayed, which is the last song on the album, is sets up that she was planning to go back to Japan. However, all flights are delayed, so she's still in Korea. And it seems like it's set up so well for a second album. However, she left her company. So she's under a new company. They did a good job with her song, I believe it was Yesterday. But I'm just so sad because I think it could have been a really good project of spanning multiple albums that just told like a cohesive story between them. But still, one of the albums of 2020. Bloom Eyes, on the other hand, doesn't really have much of a story, but the way the sound develops from listening to the song the songs chronologically is just so nice. The album starts with Eyes, which is a very bright sounding song. I don't say it's like cutish, but it's more so on the lighter end of like a spectrum. I don't know how to describe it, like kind of a day, if anything. Meanwhile, the album ends with Open Your Eyes, which, also is, or which is a bit more of a hard hitting, night song, I guess I'd say. That's the best way to describe it. And with a name like Open Your Eyes, it makes you think of, blank, closed eyes, looking at the back of your eyelids, which are dark. And I think it's just a clean sounding album. The way it develops, you hear some hard hitting hits with I Daydream. You hear I'm a sucker for ballads, so Someday, You and I, Destiny. You hear some really like, I'd say cute sounding songs, but really good message with Dreamlike. Oh, phenomenal song, phenomenal. But if I would recommend anyone the album, I would say listen to Daydream, Someday, and Dreamlike. Those are probably like a good variety of songs. Open Your Eyes is actually another one that I think people would like if they listen to. Those are like 4 kind of distinct sounds that do a great job on highlighting the album and the members' like singings. And then, speaking of albums, May is looking like a strong month for girl group releases. We have Wuju Sonya the Black, we have Rocket Punch, aespa, From Is 9, Try B, Everglow, Wua, Oh My Girl, Girls in the Park, Bling Bling, and Pixie. And the fact that we have 11 girl groups having a release within the same month, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a fight for my like $20 left in my wallet, where I'm just going to have to sit there. I can't pre-order anything because there's a chance that, maybe a group 2 days later is going to is going to come back with a better song and a stronger album. And it's tough. It's tough. I think I've only bought one album within this year, and it was Wuju Sonyeon or Cosmic Girls Unnatural, and that album is just so nice. It also is visually pretty. The album is it's purple. That's all I gotta say. It's purple, and it's my favorite color. So I was just like, it's a beautiful mini album. All the 6 tracks are just amazing, and it's aesthetically nice. So I'm weak to spending $20 for those kinds of things. And how did I go on this tangent again? Oh yeah, music. I guess I could talk about I could talk about the concert, because I don't really think I have anything else left for this episode. And so how do I start this off? I plan to go to the NieR Orchestra concert that was held in January of 2020. I think it was late January. And this was in a really weird period of time when I think our house's water was messed up. I think it caused something messed up, and they had to redo all the pipes. So we were going without water, so they put us in hotels. And I remember looking at this concert and being like, I need to go to this. However, it's on like a Wednesday or a Tuesday of a school day. And I don't know how I'm going to go to this. It's in LA, and my car cannot make it far distance. There was one time I drove about I drove to Ventura, and I always seem to lose something when I drive my car for long distances. I think I lost a hubcap on that drive. I went to the Kyle concert in Ventura, which was amazing, by the way. But I always seem to lose something when I go or when I go for long drives in my car. So I've just come to the point to accept that, my car can't. It ain't made for it. It's an old Honda Civic with like 200,000 miles on it. It's just not. It's not its role. So I had to start making plans for how I'm going to go to this concert. And by the way, the concert was pretty late in the night. So everything I basically had to stay the night in LA, or I had to drive back in the middle of the night. But since I wasn't driving, I kind of had to figure out what I was going to do. And then I came across Flixbus. I decided Flixbus there. And so I got it set up, Flixbus there get to LA about 7 or so o'clock, probably. I think the concert started at 8. I think I got to LA. The plan was to get to LA about 6 or 7 and then leave LA at 7 a.m. 6 or 7 a.m. And so, and then figure out what I would do at night, which, I planned something, but it wasn't the best of ideas. I'm very surprised it went without a hitch. And so on the day of the concert, oh, and then also the fact that it was a school day, I had to tell my teacher, like, hey, I am not going to be here for this day of class because I'm going to a concert. And this was actually from a music theory class. So my teacher was just like, oh, I can actually just, mark you present. And actually, you can use that also as credit for, activity for a project that we have to do. And I was just like, thank you. Because that teacher, phenomenal. I loved her. She was so nice and really understanding. But so on the school end, it was fine. I was like, okay, I can miss school. However, if I have the chance, I'd still like to go to the class if I can make it back home before that time. And so the day of the concert happens. I drive an hour south to Santa Barbara so I can take the Flixbus there because it's not in my actual city didn't have a Flixbus location. So I'm in get to Santa Barbara, get the Flixbus going, and then start heading over. Just typical experience, Flixbus or public transportation. A few odd people, but we're all just there trying to get to the location or get to the destination. And then get to LA, take an Uber from part of like a 10-minute Uber, which is funny enough. The 10-minute Uber is like double the cost of the Flixbus. The Flixbus was like I think it was $4.99 or $5.99 from Santa Barbara to LA. And it was like $13 to get from LA to another part of LA. It was just ridiculous. But, I understand it because, these are individual drivers and they ain't there to save money, or they're not there to, they're just there to get money. Or, well, they're due to their jobs. I should probably, if that makes it sound odd the way I said it before. And so, I get to LA, get the Flixbus. Wait, what am I saying? I get the Uber, and the concert venue is Microsoft Theater. However, I had to ask the Uber driver to stop about 2 blocks away because I believe the concert was just a few days after Kobe had passed away. So Staples Center and, the block surrounding it was just packed with people who were mourning the loss of him. And so, I walk through and get to Microsoft Theater, start getting in line, and I actually meet one of my friends who introduced me to Drakengard because I was a fan of the NieR music, and I played NieR Automata. I had known about NieR for years, however, I had yet to play it just because I never owned the game. And then my friend introduced me like in my sophomore year to Drakengard and also told me, how they're actually related in the same universe, different event, different kind of things, but somehow also related. And so I didn't know he was going to the concert. I just messaged him when I bought the ticket. I was like, hey, I'm going to this concert. And he's like, oh shit, I'm going too. I'm going with my friends. But he's from San Diego, so he drove up. So I met him there. We had different seat locations because we didn't buy tickets at the same time. And go to the concert. Phenomenal time. Spent like 2 hours. I think it was like 2.5 hours. I got a picture with some group of Devla and Popola cosplayers, which I love their characters. So I was really happy with that photo. I wish I had a better phone camera at the time because the quality ain't great. And then I actually made friends with the person sitting next to me. His name was Thomas. We just started talking. Both enjoyed the concerts. I think it's funny though. He was recording the concert on his phone. I was just like, hey, I understand. I understand the feeling. And then after the concert, I was planning on, or I think the concert ended about 10:30, 11 o'clock. And I was deciding, is it time to start my plan? And before I can, go off to do that, my friend's like, hey, you want to join us, get some tacos real quick? I was like, oh, hell yeah. So we go to this back alley with, some taco carts, and all of them $1. It's just like, oh, this is the life. So I bought like 4 or 5 to last me through the night. And I will say it was freezing cold at that time. I think I wore a thick hoodie because I knew what I was going to do. And so it's like near midnight when we finish the tacos and like, hey, do you want us, or where do you want us to drop you off? I was like, all right, can you drop me off at this Denny's real quick? And my friend's like, Denny's? Like, we just ate. What are you talking about? It's like, oh no, I'm actually gonna stay here for the night. And he's just like, wait, what the hell are you doing? And I told him my plan, which was to stay at a Denny's from 12 to 6 a.m. until my Flixbus came up. And he's like, and first thing he said was, you're stupid. And I was just like, this is the only way I can get to going to this concert. Because I wasn't paying $100 for 6 hours of sleep at a hotel. That's all I told myself. I am not paying double the price of this trip. Or basically, the concert was like $60. The Flixbus front and back, or there and back, $10 total. And then the Uber is like probably like $20. No, $10. I only use it from the Flixbus location to the to Microsoft Theater. So about the whole trip was like $80 plus the $5 of tacos. And so spending $100 for a hotel just seemed ridiculous to me. This isn't something I would do with like other people. This is something I can only do because I am a bit stupid. I guess is the only way to describe it. I'm dumb enough to do these kinds of things. And so he's like, all right, just stay safe. Let me, and, text me in the morning when you're actually on your Flixbus. I'm like, all right, we'll do. So he drops me off at the Denny's, and first thing I do is order a Dr. Pepper for 2 reasons. First, I love Dr. Pepper. I hope to one day give up this caffeine addiction. But, Dr. Pepper it's the devil's drink. It's what it is. And the second reason is because it was a money transaction, therefore making the Denny's employees less inclined to kick me out. That was the mentality when I got in there, is I need to first make a money transaction so they'd be less inclined to kick me out of the store. And to prepare for this, I brought a notepad and a pen and a hoodie, like a very thick hoodie. So what I did was have the Dr. Pepper, drink it every once in a while, have the hood, hard over my head. And then I actually think I wrote down like what I enjoyed about the concert that day of, but like about 3 or 4 a.m., I'm just like half asleep, barely awake. But the thing I'm doing is just I have the pen. I'm holding the pen still, making it look like I'm writing something. So it doesn't look like I'm asleep, but in actuality, I'm trying my hardest to not fall asleep. And I think I took it like a 30-minute nap before like the waitress asked me, "Hey, do you want a refill?" And I was like, "Yes, please. I need the caffeine. I need the soda and the sugar in my veins just to keep me awake right now." And during that night, like they kicked out like 4 or so people for loitering. There was a guy who, right when he walked in, just put his head down on the table, like, and about 30 minutes passed. And the hostess was asking him, like, "Sir, you can order something, or, you can get the hell out of the store," in a much nicer way. And then that boy went off. I forgot. That was the guy. He went off. He's like, "I've been waiting here for 30 minutes. No one ever asked me. This is horrible customer service. I'm leaving." And she's like, "All right." she just wasn't, that guy was just there to loiter. Same as me, but he made a rookie mistake of not ordering at the first place. Another guy ordered water. 30 minutes passed. Then he left, or was asked to leave again because, money transactions. I'm telling you, these people are making rookie mistakes, as we would say. And then there was, what else happened? Was it just those 2 guys I remember? I feel like there was a third that I'm forgetting about. But then there was a guy who, I think he said he just got out of jail and asked me if I could borrow my phone so I can call, or so he can make a call. But my phone was dying because I actually forgot, or there were no wall ports for chargers. So I was trying to conserve my phone battery life. So I just had to tell him, like, "Sorry, man, my phone's dying. I can't really help out." So he just asked the person at the front desk. They let him borrow the front desk phone. He called, he left. All good on that end. And at like 4 a.m., I checked my phone because I'm not really using it, but it's still kind of dying because I haven't charged it since probably 8 hours. No, probably 10 hours ago. 12? No, 12. And it's at like 10% battery. I was like, "Oh shit, I need it for about an hour and a half away when I actually should leave Denny's so I can walk to the Flixbus location because I don't know where I'm at. I'm at a Denny's that's nearby the Flixbus pickup point, but I don't know exactly where it's at." So I turned off my phone and I was like, "Okay, I'll turn it on when it's relatively close to the time to leave." And so once again, I just stay there for like an hour trying to stay awake, trying to write stuff. I don't even know what, like half the stuff becomes like gibberish midway through the lines. But I make it through and I feel like it's about time to go. So I check the clock. I was like, okay, it's about 5:20 it is. It's still not even like light outside. And I go to pay. And it's $2 and like 50, or it's like $2 or $3 and 47 cents. I think I still have the receipt in a box somewhere. And while I'm up at the register to pay, I turn on my phone. I pick up my phone out of my pocket, turn it on, and it's at 1%. And I'm like, "Oh shit." And first thing I do is ask the person that I'm like, while the transaction's going on, I ask, like, "Hey, do you have a place I could charge my phone?" And they're just like, "Sorry, we don't have any in the like at the store." I think it's to avoid loitering, avoid doing exactly what I was doing. So I was just like, "Oh shit." And I'm trying to pull up my Google Maps so I can put the directions in to where I have to walk. And while I'm doing that, my phone just dies. And mentally, I'm just thinking, how the fuck am I going to get out of this one? And so I pay and I walk out and immediately walk outside because I'm like trying to figure out how am I going to get to my Flixbus location. And something I realized like midway through was, oh my God, I actually forgot to tip. I forgot to tip the hostess. I felt so bad because I was there for like 5-6 hours and I ordered 2 Dr. Peppers basically. And I paid $3 and I forgot to tip them. So but sadly that wasn't like in the back of my mind at that time was, to remember the tip. So I walk outside though, and I go to the end of that block, and I can go at that point. I can walk left, straight, or right. And at about 30 minutes to the bus location, or I had 30 minutes till the bus arrival. So I told myself, I can take 2 of these routes because before I got to Denny's, the reason I knew to stay at the Denny's was it was roughly a 10-minute walk from there to the Flixbus location. I told myself, if I can go 2 routes and hopefully I find it. I can go one route, mess up, and then go back to one of the other 2 directions. And so I looked and I decided to just start walking to the right. And luckily, 10 minutes later, I found myself back at the Flixbus stop. And there was a Flixbus there. So I was like, oh, thank Christ. Like, the bus is here already. And I asked, like, is this the bus to head to Santa Barbara? And like, oh, no. And I just asked, like, hey, can I charge my phone on your bus? Because my phone's dead and, I can't do anything. And they're like, oh, yeah, sure. Just hop in. And so I go there. I plug in my phone. And I'm just like, all right, perfect. But my phone doesn't turn on. So like 2 minutes pass. I'm just like, I don't think this port works. So I asked, like, hey, does the port here work? And like, yeah, it should be on. And I was just like, oh, that's unfortunate. And they're like, is it working? I'm like, no, it isn't. Is there anything you could do? And they like flick some switches on. Like, is it working now? And nothing was working. So, I just felt so bad because I was kind of intruding. So I just said, oh yeah, it's working. And I said, yeah, it's working. Thank you. And like, all right, no problem. And so I'm sitting in this Flixbus that's not even ours, like 10 minutes acting like I'm charging my phone. And then I get off because they're about to leave. And I'm just like, thank you. Just so thank you. It helped out a lot. And I get off the bus. They leave and my phone's still dead. And like 15 minutes later, my bus gets back. And my bus gets there. I hop on. Luckily, they had the you can look someone up by name. So I didn't actually need my phone. And I go to some random spot near the back, charge my phone, and it actually works. And I crashed out. And got to Santa Barbara within like 2-3 hours. I was like, okay, I can still make it to class if I start driving now. But I like took a minute and I realized it is not safe for me to drive an hour and a half off this 3 hours of sleep. So I just called my mom, told her, hey, I'm in Santa Barbara. I'm going to sleep. I'm not going to class because this ain't going well. So just to, give her a check-in, because the last time I talked to her was when I think I got into LA. And I think I gave her the gist of how I was gonna spend the night there. And trust me, she did not really think it was a good idea. She offered to pay the hotel, but it's just like, that's a waste of your money. And, as a college student with a lack of income, I can't just be throwing around money like that. That's all I can say. And so I slept for like another 4 hours. I drove home, or well, I drove to the hotel, quote home at the time. And I think that was about it. It was a fun experience. And then I didn't even get that poster, which is a really beautiful poster, by the way, from the concert. I remember seeing that design and telling myself, oh, I'm gonna grab this when I go. However, it wasn't at that location, or it wasn't at the venue. So I was like looking it up, trying to figure out why. And I learned it was a Japan only item, or Japan only purchase item. So I had to order it through a carrier from Japan. And the poster itself was like, it was like $7, but it ended up being like 30 because of the shipping. But it was such a beautiful concert that I was like, I want this memory of it, because it was one of the only things. Wait, oh shit, it's crooked. When did that happen? All right, I need to fix that one day. But it was such a good, fun memory, and just the performances in general. Hearing specifically Grandma, then Kaine, Weight of the World, were Shadow Lord was also very phenomenal. But the one that like threw me for a loop was hearing the orchestral mix version of the Wretched Automatons. And it was amazing. Oh my God. I loved being there for like that. That whole time was just such a good experience. And I hope to, have more experiences like that. And, it's not the first dumb decision I've made regarding concerts. Going back to IZ*ONE, I they had their final concert, Won the Story, held online. And me and my friend decided, hey, we're gonna, tune into it, or we're gonna watch it, or pay for the online ticket price and watch the concert. And after we watch the concert, it's sad near the end, because it's their final concert and really the end of their promotions. And me and my friend are both like tearing up at the while watching this concert, and we're like, dang, we need merch. We need merch. And so I wanted to get a hoodie, but they were sold out. But so I ended up buying an Airpods case, and it was only like $15, which was cool. But the thing is, I don't own AirPods. Or I didn't own AirPods at the time, I should say. So when I got the case, I made the decision, well, I guess I need some AirPods now. So at that point, I bought AirPods, and I can understand the hype now. I can understand the hype of AirPods. But spending $15 on that concert to then buy a $120 device was probably not the most linear thought process. But merch, memories. Oh my God, I think that was like it was like a 20-minute episode, and then I went on that freaking tangent of a story. It's probably like 30 now, and I think that's about time to wrap up this episode. If you've stayed through to this point in the episode, thank you, or stayed through till the end, thank you. Hopefully Julian's back next week, so we can go back to a normal, banter dynamic. And it's not just me rambling on about dumb things I've done. So, and that'll be about it. Thank you for tuning into episode 2 of the Virtually Lost podcast. See you next week.